In today's video, we will hear Naval Goddard talk about a crucial subject. More specifically, he will discuss how to start putting all of this knowledge and advice into practice and make it work. He will discuss how to stop being a hearer and start acting like a doer. By assuming you are the person you would like to be, you put this one reality to the extreme test by presuming everything is feasible to envision. Your logical mind and physical senses could disagree, but if you insist, I will swear you will see your assumption true. You are the same God who created and upheld the cosmos, but you're keyed low. If you want to effect change, you must be persistent. It is important to presume that your wish has been realized when your assumptions shift, if you want to successfully apply the law of assumptions to manifesting your wants. To support the realization of that premise, the cosmos reformats itself. Your only responsibility is to maintain this presumption until the external environment accurately reflects your internal condition. However, we frequently let outside factors that interfere with our manifestations derail our presumptions. Ignore your external reality, whatever it may be at the time, as the first method for continuing to apply the law of assumption. According to the law of assumption, nothing exists outside of your consciousness, and your entire perception of the universe is merely a reflection of your own awareness. Your current reality is therefore just a projection of your earlier beliefs. Many of us have learned to base our conclusions on third-party evidence. The law of assumption contends, however, that we employ our preconceptions to confirm outside evidence. Now, how precisely does the law of assumptions operate in light of what we just discussed? The law of assumption functions by implementing fresh assumptions or beliefs in your subconscious. Your subconscious mind controls 95% of your actions and the consequences of those actions. Your body will go into automatic mode and manifest what you want in your physical world by persuading your subconscious mind that you already have it. Whether you believe in it or not, it still works. Someone who is self-assured in their driving abilities. They will, for instance, experience fewer collisions than someone who thinks they are bad drivers. When someone feels attractive, they will get more dates and relationships than when someone feels unattractive. These ostensibly unimportant events show the strength of the law of assumptions and how it is always true that our thoughts and beliefs are reflected in our lives. They also show the kind of person we believe we are in terms of money, love, employment, and other things. But the beauty is that we can change anything at any time. The primary issue with this subject, in my opinion, is that although it is empowering, it is also rather risky. For the same reason, it is much simpler to assign responsibility to external factors or other people. Additionally, we think it's challenging, although this is not the case. We are what we think we have been thinking your entire life, and it is now coming back to haunt you, according to us. All that is left for you to do is alter your perspective, take control, and guide your life. But until your new concepts manifest and show up in your life, you must keep speaking and acting on them. You need to be self-disciplined and consistent for that, my friends. There is no other way to love yourself enough to work towards your goal instead of what is happening right now. Before we continue, let's let Naval speak for himself. Be sure to pay close attention and take pleasure.
So here it is really the servant of the Lord speaking. And he's giving us some fantastic instruction and very practical instruction. Now listen to it carefully. I'm now going to quote from the very first chapter of the book of James. Be doers of the word, and not hearers only. For he who is a hearer and not a doer is like a man who observes his natural face in a mirror, then goes his way and at once forgets what he is like. But he who looks into the perfect law, the law of liberty, and perseveres, he will be blessed in his doing. Now, how do I look into the law, the perfect law, which sets me free, the law of liberty? I look into my mind. I'm now imprisoned. I've heard the sentence. I know exactly how long I'm supposed to serve. Now I look into the law of liberty in my mind. And I assume that I am free. I'm set free. How? I am not concerned. Who brought it about? I am not concerned. I simply look into the perfect law, the law of liberty, and I dare to assume that I am free. If I dare to assume that I am free, I rearrange the structure of my mind, the same mind that heard the sentence that I accepted when I heard it. Now I do not accept it. I look into the perfect law, the law of liberty. And if, as I'm told in Scripture, I persevere, then I will actually receive that which I am doing. I must not forget what I have done and sleep this night as though I am in prison. For if I am now set free, where would I sleep? Let me know exactly where would I sleep. Well, dare to assume that I am sleeping there now. If I sleep in the assumption that I am free, I am not in jail. Even though the bars are there, I don't see them. Close my eyes against them. As Blake tells us, man's perceptions are not bounded by organs of perception. He perceives more than sense, so ever acute, can discover. And so reason, or the ratio of all that we already know, is not the same that it shall be when we know more. If I take this tonight and test it, and it proves itself in the testing, well, then I have added to my knowledge. And so I know more than before I tested it. And so when I find myself up against something that seems beyond solution, I have found something that can solve it. All I have to do is to rearrange the structure of my mind. So I dare to assume that I am the man that I would be, and sleep as though I am. That's the rearrangement of that structure of the mind. I'm the same being. I'm Neville. I know exactly those that I knew before, but now I know them differently. I know them now as a freed man. But I must not be a hearer of what I heard in Scripture. I must be a doer. I must do it. So be not a doer only. Be a doer in the full sense of the word. So that I'll do it and persist. The word is persevere in Scripture. The first chapter, the 22nd through the 25th verses of the Epistle of James. So I will simply do it. And though tomorrow I am confronted with the obvious facts of life that I'm still in prison, it still doesn't matter. I did it, I am doing it, and I will continue to do it until that which I have done is perfectly externalized within my world. In my world.